Hey guys, welcome back. It's Maverick here with another episode of Yuukoku no Moriarty. And actually not just any episode, but this is the season finale, which kind of surprised me. I only realized this after the fact when I went and checked the checked the information and whatnot. Which I don't know what to say about that. At least they are ending on something that's highly interesting, of course, which is a sort of showdown. Well, not really showdown, but a friendly little battle between Sherlock and Moriarty, William Moriarty. So at least we got that going for us, right? And yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can say for now. Let's just get into the episode and see how they further solidify the mutual respect they have for each other. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I guess we also get that entire situation with Watson and all that. But like I said, he's not gonna die. He's the writer of this freaking story. At least in universe, anyways. And it's a locked room, right? So one of those classic murder cases. A sealed room murder. Or is he going to be the suspect or something? And I'm kind of, even if they were going to end on this, which I guess would also be, be kind of expected as well, to solve this thing in just one episode, isn't that a little bit too rushed? Mm-hmm. I like, you can make. Well, I'm just thinking, you can actually make an opening specifically for the anime, but you can't give it a few more episodes? Like, come on. Although, I guess perhaps the next arc is going to be very, very long or something like that. So you have a little under an hour. Ever the logical person. Ah, come off it, William. You just want to play with Sherlock. You guys can take all the credit. And they're just gonna start. These two absolutely do not care about the murder. That's reasonable. Alright, pick the lock. So how is this? No, I guess you lock it from the outside. Yeah, makes sense. But you gotta say, yeah. So, a robbing gone wrong? Yeah, robbing gone wrong.
凶器は傷口の形状から見てナイフのような鋭利な刃物。同じものによる傷跡がこじ開けようとしたケースにも残っています。
ナイフか。見当たらんようだったら犯人が持ち去ったんだな。
その可能性が高いです。目覚めた被害者と揉み合い、そして刺殺してしまった。大量の出血に驚いたのか、犯人が傷口を押さえて血を止めようとした形跡もあります。
Mm-hmm.
確かに被害者の手には血がついていないのに血の手形がある。慌てて本来の目的を忘れてしまったのか。
結局死体は放置。
So he didn't actually want to kill him.
凶器と部屋の鍵を持って施錠する以外のことにまで気が回らなかったと見えます。犯人の狼狽ぶりがありありと伺える犯行現場ですね。
同感だリアム。
But do you guys know who it is? No, now they're gonna search for it.
もう見るものはね。行くぞしょ。
残り39分。モリアーティ様。乗員乗客の名簿と車内
Oh, they're not gonna work together. They're going to do it separately.
この世でただ一人、ウィリアム兄さんが一目置く男。だが、兄さんから見れば利用する駒に過ぎない。なのに、慣れ慣れしく呼んで、甘つさえ、兄さんに勝負を挑もうなどと、おこがましいにも程がある。もし利用価値がなくなった時は、僕が。
No, he just might be the person to bring you all down, Lewis.
残された靴跡などの細かい状況証拠が犯人を絞っているだろう。せっかくだから僕は違うやり方、犯罪者心理から犯人像をプロファイリングしてみようかな。
So,
犯人自身、予定外の殺人に大いに困惑していた。それでも部屋に鍵をかけて出たのは、発覚を恐れる気持ちが少しでもあったからだ。そして犯人はワトソン氏とトイレでぶつかる。ルイス、犯人はなぜトイレに
wash off the blood.
だから処分しようとしたのではないでしょうか。その通り、一つはそれだ。客室の窓は開かない作り。おそらくトイレの窓から捨てたんだ。線路沿いを探せば鍵と凶器が見つかるだろう。もう一つの理由と。簡単さ、ルイス。洗い落としたかった。
Yeah. He's not exactly someone accustomed to killing.
凶器や鍵と一緒に捨ててしまえ。そう。捨てればよかったが、そうはしなかった。犯人は服を捨てられない人物。だから言わざるを得なかったんだ。ホームズは靴跡から男だと判断した。
So, maybe a worker here? Oh, one of the train personnel? Or a noble? Okay, so a crewman. Right.
乗務員。それなら一等車の客に酒を勧めるのも自然だし、ジャケットを捨てることもできない。あと手袋もな。
白手袋も支給品で個人のネーム入り。
Oh, so that's why they had that. I was thinking like why they had that blue little imprint there. But it's not gonna dry in that time, right? But just because it's wet, it's not going to. And you managed to do all that before Sherlock gathered all of them? 'But how are they so sure that the guy wouldn't have thrown his clothes out of the... Okay. I guess William wanted to know why he killed the guy. Now we need William to step up. Yep. Did he actually talk with them each time already? Oh. He planted that? Yeah, if it was a bluff. Yep. It was a plant.
手段の方が非合法だからね。彼は人を信じすぎる。だがそれは必ずしも悪いことじゃない。彼のそんなところが僕は好きだし。それにあの二人、すごくいいコンビだと思うよ。
Yeah, but Holmes saw through that. Sherlock absolutely knows that that was something that William did.
皮肉なもんだな。俺はお前に人殺しになればいいなんて言ったが、もしお前がいなかったら、今頃俺の方が先に人殺しになっていたな。まあ、ジョン、なんつうか、近頃うまくいかなくてだな。お前さえよけりゃまた組んでやってもいいんだぜ。お前、それで謝ってるつもりなの？名探偵もただの人間なんだな。おい、ジョン、どうして俺にもタバコをくれ、シャーロック。それとほら、マッチ持ってないんだろ。お前は俺がいないとタバコに火をつけられない。
Keeping an eye on them, eh? Okay. Is this royalty? Prob.
ご報告に上がりました。女王陛下。
Joe, yeah, royalty.
陛下、状況は深刻です。残念ながら盗み出された文書の行方はようとして知れず、手にした者からの要求および接触も未だございます。
あの文書は我が英国にとって重要ないかなる非常な手を用いても構いません。あの文書を奪還しなさい、ホームズ卿。
Brother Holmes. And there we go. That's the end of this season. Alright, see you guys after this. Well, alrighty, so we got Mycroft Holmes showing up at the very end there. Why? Well, apparently this already has a second cour announced, right? For some reason on my anime list, it's listed as a second season, which is kind of incorrect. It's a 2-cour season anime, so that means that next episode should be episode 12, technically. But anyways, that's kind of beside the point. The important thing is there is another season already in the works, and it's coming exactly directly next season, right? So, hey, yay, right? Will I be watching it? Well, stay until the end to find out, right? Anyways, let's talk a little bit about this episode. Well, let's talk a little bit about Mycroft Holmes here, because I feel like that's also quite interesting, as well. So, you know, Mycroft Holmes, in case there's any of you guys who don't know, is the brother of Sherlock Holmes in the stories, and he works for the British government, right? So we can see here that he's addressing the Queen, which technically it kind of looks weird in that kind of setting and all that, and they're making him out. I don't know if the anime is trying to villainify, or this work is trying to villainify him or whatnot, which is kind of strange to me because, you know, in the official works, he is definitely on working on the good side of stuff, right? You know, he could be considered as the liaison, the contact point between Sherlock and the government. So sometimes when the British government has some cases or situations that they want to enlist the help of Sherlock Holmes with, they'll pass it down from Mycroft and whatnot. But by and large, you know, they are working on the same side and all that. I guess my thinking here is this. So Moriarty is clearly going up against, you know, the corrupt nobles, right? He wants to install justice to this society. And I guess technically you could say that royalty, the government, etc., are part of the problem. So maybe that's why they're trying to make them look like they are part of the antagonist instead. Which, I don't know how that would exactly work, but no, we'll see, right? We will see. Anyways, talking a little bit about this episode, and by the way, I did not know that we were going to have 2 seasons until I checked at the end of this, so that's why in the opening I said, hey, this is way too short, right? So in that case, I guess it kind of makes sense to finish the season on a finished case here. In this particular episode, it was just kind of, a small side story, if you will. The one part that I did have a kind of problem with is I feel like they didn't completely explain why the killer couldn't have thrown his clothes out of the, how, actually, let me say it this way. They explained why, right? But the premise here was already that they think the killer can't throw his clothes out the window. But they never explained why they felt so. Why they felt that the killer did not throw his clothes out the window. Like, for instance, if we consider a completely alternative scenario, right? This was actually just a passenger or whatnot. Maybe for some reason, he was acquaintances with the jewelry, with the deceased and whatnot, and was just using this as an opportunity to rob him or something like that. Why couldn't it have been a normal passenger and they actually went to the bathroom, to the washroom, and threw the clothes out, right? They never explained why that could not happen. So I feel like there was a little bit of a hole there. But then again, I think for this episode, we're just mostly looking at the sort of interactions between William and Sherlock and all of that. And I did find one part kind of interesting, how basically William planted blood on all 6 of the different crewmen. So he was completely willing to allow Sherlock to find the culprit and then, just aid in what he was in the person that he implicated, right? Although I guess technically if Sherlock went into a wrong direction, maybe William would step up and try to do something about it. But I do feel like he implicitly trusts that Sherlock is going to be able to solve this case pretty easily, right? And I also really love the little part that he had at the end there, saying how Sherlock Holmes operates within the law, Moriarty operates outside the law. Because even though this is just a little tiny small case that was solved in one episode, it's in a way a sort of a microcosm of the entire series as well, right? Because clearly the Moriartys here, they believe that they are doing something good, right? They believe they are fighting for justice and all that, but they are operating out of the law, right? They are just trying to expose the crimes of the nobility and whatnot. And, Sherlock is doing the same thing as well. So in a way, not getting in too much into like maybe Sherlock Holmes' own morals or ideals and whatnot. They are, fighting for the same thing in a way, which is to expose crime, right? However, Sherlock is only able to do this within the boundaries of the law, and Moriarty and his crew, his gang, whatever you want to call them, they decided that operating outside the law would bring things to light more efficiently, and so on and so forth. But they do believe that it's for the good of society as a whole, right? They're just trying to do the same thing. So even though this was just a small little episode and a small side story in the grand scheme of things, you can clearly see the sort of contrast here between what they are doing on the bigger stage as well, right? So I did like how they went into that part there. I think this episode, particularly in that ending dialogue there between William and Lewis, really exemplifies what exactly the Moriartys are trying to do and why they are choosing this method of doing it, right? This was the perfect example of that. So yeah, and I think that's pretty much all we have to say for this particular episode. So what about the series overall, right? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Well, no, one thing I have to mention first, right, is that definitely for a detective / mystery series, especially one that takes the names of, set in the same universe as Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty and whatnot, I feel like they are, they are a little bit slapdastical in terms of the actual, the murder cases, right? The mysteries and whatnot, which, I don't know if this is a fair, review or fair, if this is a fair point to make in terms of criticism towards the series, right? Because, one way to look at it is just looking at the opening, right? The opening, we can clearly see how the opening is structured and all that. And I feel like just by getting a feel and vibe of the opening, you can pretty much see that this series is one that's more about the grandeur and the flashiness and so on and so forth of the series, and not so much really trying to be a very solid detective or mystery series here. Because one thing that I came into this thinking of is that, hey, it's got the Sherlock Holmes name and Moriarty name and whatnot. It should be really solid in terms of the cases that it presents, but not really so, right? Especially during the I forgot which episode it was, but the cruise ship one, right? That murder case and whatnot, and indeed even all the other murder cases, even in this episode as well. There's always some holes there that aren't really that aren't really properly explained, or just too many how can I put this? Too many coincidentals happen at the same time in order for something to move forward, right? And you have to feel like, okay, even even God himself probably could not. Actually, probably shouldn't say that. So, like, I don't care how much of a genius you are, you really can't expect things to happen that according to plan, right? So there is a little bit of a suspense of disbelief being put in here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I feel especially maybe because it actually has the Sherlock Holmes universe as part of its name and whatnot in Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes and whatnot. I was kind of expecting for the cases to be a bit more solid, if you will. So again, maybe you could say that, hey, it doesn't really have to be like that, but then I would counter argue with, well, why do you need to utilize the Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty names in the first place, right? Couldn't this have just been an original work or something like that? Which, again, I kind of get it, right? Because, having these household names, and then you can kind of make references to the actual thing and whatnot, and then people who do know, who have read the Sherlock Holmes series, or maybe watched the television series or whatnot, they can say, hey, I know about that reference and whatnot, Baker Streak and whatnot. So I get that, right? It's just that for me, I feel like since you are putting this name in your work, I was expecting a little bit more in terms of the actual mystery and case solving and all of that. But indeed, putting that aside, right? I have to say it is a pretty entertaining series, right? And watching William and Sherlock, watching their smirks and how they go about things and whatnot, it is definitely entertaining. I will give it that, right? I just wish that they had spent a little bit more time fleshing out the details of the cases. So I have no problem with the entertainment factor of this series, right? I love how they reimagine some of the characters. I love how they portray some of the characters. To me, the icing on the top, or the cherry on top, would be if it was a very solid detective / mystery series as well. And that would have really elevated even more. But as it is right now, yeah, it's entertaining. So I will be watching the next season of this as well, although probably not spending so much time really going through the actual, the cases and whatnot, right? Because it's, like I said, there are various holes in it that we just have to accept, right? Because that's not really the focus point of the story. So, anyways, that's my conclusion basically. So I will continue watching this in the next season. Hopefully, I can fit it within schedule and whatnot. If not, I might switch things up a little bit, but don't worry, I will be watching this as well. So I will see you guys once the second course starts airing, probably in a week or two or something like that. Until then, feel free to check out my other stuff, and if not, well, I hope I will see you guys again soon. Until then, bye bye.